X-Pac 12360. Featuring weekly news, insider commentary, and interviews with superstars, past and present from the world of pro wrestling.
A new day is dawning for DX.
And now, your hosts, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Xpac 12360. I'm your host, Sean X-Pac Waltman. Good to be back. I was out east this weekend. I was actually in Chicago for AAW this weekend on Saturday, the 30th. And then I went to Providence, Rhode Island, and hosted the New Year's Eve show for XWA. And had a really good time. Except for it was cold as ass, and Lou did not like it one bit. She's trying to take her outside to go to the bathroom, and she walks about 10 steps, and she's like all of a sudden walking on 3 legs, and then one leg won't go down, and I'm thinking there's something wrong with her hip or something, and her leg like's dislocated. But I mean, she don't like it's the rock salt that they put to melt the ice.
Yeah, she needs
burns
gloves.
the feet. Yeah. So and the thing is dogs don't like stuff on their paws, but they don't like getting burned by rock salt even less. So, anyways, yeah, she hated it, and so I gave her a bath, and then she was in bed with me, and because she couldn't go outside as much, she peed all over me in bed. I mean, everywhere.
Over you?
Yes. Yeah, it was all of a sudden, I'm like, did I pee? I'm like, what's going on? Did something spill? And I look down, there's just piss everywhere.
At least you didn't do it on your face. That would have been worse. Maybe. R. Kelly.
I also got peed on an animal on Christmas.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, tell us.
No, that was
Yeah.
Hey,
I had to pay for it. No.
so as usual, we have Jimbo Frank on
What
the
up?
Kiz Ouch. Next to Jimbo, we got Denise Salcedo, Bill Handstock. That's who was over there talking
What's up,
about getting
everybody?
peed on by an
Yeah.
animal.
That's me.
TK, do you ever get peed on by an animal?
I do have not.
Do you want to?
No.
You've never gotten peed on by
No,
an
because
animal.
in my house, my dog, like, it's in the culture, our dogs don't sleep on beds. They have a bed and it's in the other room. Like,
Which culture? The Canadian culture?
No, West Indian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually, I had to fight for my dog to actually be in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, Killer Mike said our dogs, they stay outside.
Yeah, they stay out. Like, I had to, like, really fight
That's-
my dad to, like, bring the dog.
It's
in the
just a
house.
different relationship. The relationship has changed over the years
Yeah.
between us and our dogs,
Yeah.
and I like it. My dogs, hey, if there's a choice between, never mind. My dog's sleeping in bed with me. As
Even
long
if
as
she pees.
Even if she pees. All I did was switch over to the other side of the bed. Throw a couple of towels on there.
Well, it's a hotel, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
And I left
That
some
maid
money.
had to be like,
I left
"What
some
the
money.
hell
I left
happened
some
here?"
money on the nightstand for her. Wrote a note.
Sorry about that.
Blamed it
was
on
Lou.
myself. Sorry, I peed the bed.
I had an accident.
Yeah.
Love X-Pac.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's all autograph.
Shit happens. I mean,
They'll sell a on eBay in a couple days. You'll see a note up for sale. X-Pac apologizing for pissing bed. Authentic
Or
autograph.
like a tweet from the maid, like I had to clean this up, or I don't know.
A selfie of her with the
Yeah,
stain.
there you go.
there's a lot of who's on the show? AAW. I was at in Chicago, and Matt Riddle was on the show. There's a lot of guys that that I know, but I can't remember their names, that I've seen around and been on shows with a bunch. But oh damn it, no. A bunch of guys I know were on that show. Jeff Cobb was on. Teddy Hart was there, you guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Joey Janela, Teddy Hart, and like who the hell else was it? It was like a 4-way. Yeah, but anyways, it's always
How was Teddy?
He seemed fine, actually. He seemed pretty good. Yeah, it was nice to see Ted. It's always interesting when you see Teddy. So
Do you have a cat with him?
he did. Yeah.
Not Mr. Money, but a different
No,
cat.
there's a big fat white
Oh, okay.
Himalayan cat.
Oh.
That It's very, very tolerant cat. Any cat that Teddy has got to be very tolerant. Because Teddy's like flipping cats up in the air and catching them. Tried to do that to my cat. I'm really mad.
How was he around Lou? Was he excited?
He was fine. Yeah, but he's a cat guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not big.
So, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon were. What does he call himself now?
Pentagon L0.
Yeah, yeah, but we all know. I mean, who it is. Come on, let's be serious about
Sure.
it. Yeah. So, I had a good time. The crowd. It was a nice house. By the time I got out there, the crowd was kind of spent though. So, anyways. Moving forward, what else is going on in wrestling?
Speaking of cool cats, we got Cool Cat joining us later on, right?
That's right. My friend Peter Polacco, aka Just Incredible, is going to be joining us, and I wouldn't have asked him to come on if he wasn't doing pretty good right now. So happy to be having him on. He's going to share with us, what's going on with him right now. Anyways, so let's get into what's going on in wrestling, other than the stuff that I just talked about.
X-Pac 12360 Wrestling News.
So, today marks the birthday of a wrestling legend. Jim Ross turned 66 today.
Damn, Jim. Wow.
Boomer sooner.
Yeah. So I was just on the Ross report. Does he call it the Ross report? His podcast.
Yeah. Ross report. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on the latest one that just dropped yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. I did it with Jim over, I think it was like last week or something like that. It was fun. I always like talking to Jim. I like talk. When I go on a podcast, it's usually somebody like Steve Austin, JR, or somebody like that I have a good rapport with, and so it's always fun.
It's just like hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, it's a conversation
Not
with Jim. Yeah, no, mind you, he asks me questions. He has questions from the people. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And happy birthday, Jim! Love you very much, my friend.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Go buy his book.
Yes.
And his barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And his jerky.
And his jerky. I think you might be able to get a pack with all three.
Oh, you dip the jerky in the barbecue sauce?
Why not?
Wow.
So
yeah, this is America.
This is America.
So Jim, I think Jim he was pre-recording some of his shows because I'm thinking that he might be in Japan.
Yeah.
Or is he doing it from here?
They said that it's going to have live commentary, and I have also heard that he's going to be in town early in January for taping episodes.
Yeah.
So he might be in Japan for Wrestle Kingdom, and then be coming out here to tape, some follow-up episodes. But I don't know. He could be doing it, I guess, remotely. But I don't think
know.
that they'd bother. I don't think that they would do that.
No.
So maybe him and
Josh Barnett.
Cyrus. No.
Don Callis?
Don Callis. Maybe they'll be doing it for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. I just know that when I was talking to Jim on his show that's up right now, he was mentioning how like this time he has some really, really capable people helping him with research and making sure that like all the stuff that people complain about aren't going to be as much of an issue, hopefully.
Nice.
So, what else is up?
A second-generation wrestler. Oh, okay. A second-generation wrestler makes his debut. So Brian Pillman's son, Brian Pillman Jr., he's going to be wrestling in Indianapolis. Actually, he actually did for the New Year's Bash. So he's kind of starting his journey.
Hey, Mark, we got. Oh, there's a clip for anyone that's watching at home. Nice little power slam by Brian Pillman Jr.
He looks so much like him.
Oh, that was the finish. Oh no, okay, the heel manager coming up on the apron, distracting the ref. God, he looks just like his dad.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Is that Jake Christ?
I don't know, man, but Brian Pillman Jr. looks like Brian Pillman Sr.
Yeah, he does.
It's crazy. Except for I never saw Brian with a beard like that.
He had like
A little bit, a little scruff, yeah.
When he pulled the gun on.
Wow, oh my God, this is taking forever. This part.
Yeah, I think that is a Christ, right?
He has like
no.
the Christ gear.
No, he's got the gear, but not the Christ hair.
Huh. Anyways, unless we're gonna have a wow,
nice.
man.
Dropkick.
Yeah.
Flying
Anyways,
Junior.
yes.
Flying Junior.
Yeah, it was all for that build up for that one drop kick.
Yeah, but okay, man. Let's keep in mind that's a person's first match.
Sure.
Good job.
Yeah. Other than man,
He looks
impressive.
like almost exactly like Brian Pillman, but then also like a dash of Dalton Castle too.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that, Brian Pillman was so ahead of his time, and now his son is, following in his footsteps, And for, like you said, for his first match, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on new wrestlers starting with a mask and not taking like a family name right away?
Man, whatever. Well, if that's how they want to do it, that's fine. I'm for. I didn't like trying to pretend like Joe Hennig is somebody other than the son of
Michael
Kurt Hennig.
McGillicuddy.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like I'm not a fan of.
Because everyone knows.
Yeah.
But someone who's not so quite on the radar, like if he would have started with a different name, do you think it would be better?
Not
Or just
necessarily.
Keep Pillman Jr.
Hey
and just
man,
work your way up?
look, that's his name, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was born the son of Brian Pillman, and he lost his father really, really way too early. And you know what? Carry your dad's name and carry it proud, and get whatever advantage you can get out of being a Brian Pillman Jr. That's what I say.
I think it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Yes.
Like, you have to feel it out. Like, I think that we can all agree at this point that Curtis Axel probably should have been Kurt Hennig Jr. or Joe Hennig or whatever. But, like, with someone like Mike Rotunda's kid,
Yes.
the name Mike Rotunda or Mike Rotundo isn't going to carry a lot of weight.
Sure.
Plus, he's so far from being Mike Rotunda's kid that I think, like, maybe the Husky Harris thing wasn't great, but the Bray Wyatt thing's great.
It's great.
Like, Bray Wyatt shouldn't be Mike Rotunda Jr.
No.
So.
But Bo Dallas, it might have worked a little better, maybe. I just think
I
of
think
like
Bo's
Brian
great,
Christopher
too.
situation, and I think of Colt Cabana interviews when he said when he first started, he was just like a pantyhose on his head. He was like a goon. And it was so good because he wanted to be a big, important wrestler. And I don't want to wear a mask, but he was so crappy that it helped. That by the time he got good, it's like, okay, I shouldn't wear a mask now because I actually know what I'm doing.
And it used to be a thing that, guys, it was weird. 'Cause, okay, like when Barry Windham first started, he was Blackjack Mulligan Jr. And he had his hair dyed dark, and he had tried to do the mustache, and and he was so young and so thin and gangly when he started. And it was,
and especially back then, like, anybody could have been Blackjack Mulligan Jr.
yeah.
Like, you could have just dyed anyone's mustache and called him that.
But so when Barry Windham being just Barry
Windham
Windham
Baker.
on his own, I thought that actually was good.
For sure.
Well, because I grew up on Barry Windham, and it wasn't like they tried to pretend like Barry wasn't the son of Blackjack Mulligan.
Right.
The name Mulligan was the name that Vince Sr. put on Blackjack.
Right.
Because they like the Irish people are big on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So,
It's very
anyways.
interesting. Good.
You didn't know that?
No.
Well, like when Rock's daughter starts wrestling, she's going to be whoever Maivia.
Right.
Like, that for sure. Like, they're not... Because even, like, people like, Nia Jax, they still market her as, like, The Rock's cousin.
And they don't it's not like right under her name, cousin of the Rock,
Right.
Nia Jax, like something.
Nia Jax Rocket Jace.
Yeah.
But you still know it. You still know it.
So, yeah. Okay. Wishing Brian Pillman Jr. the best. And
I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
keep an eye on
Hope
him
to see
in the
him out
future.
in California wrestle.
Hell yeah, maybe a bar wrestling or something.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a place for him.
So what else is up?
A big wrestling event is happening very soon.
How soon?
How soon? Wrestle Kingdom 12 is happening on Thursday. Well, given the time, it's 2 a.m.
About
Eastern.
12 hours from
about
when
12
we're
hours.
taping this.
Yes. So very, very soon.
Nice. All right. Well, I mean, a lot of people here in the States are probably just getting familiar with this if they're not a big New Japan fan because Chris Jericho's involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you say, because I would say it's right on the edge, would you say that this is going to be New Japan's biggest event ever? Because I think it's close.
Internationally, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not within Japan.
No, definitely not.
You know, it's pretty insane how one moment we were hearing about this Jericho Kenny Omega thing, and then, you know, we're at the eve of it happening pretty soon. And it was actually, I was listening to this podcast with Kenny Omega on it at the Wrestling Observer, and I thought it was so cool how he was talking about what you mentioned, that this is probably going to be, you know, a lot bigger internationally.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that he actually talked about, was how he feels that because New Japan gave him like this platform to rise and to grow in, that he's helping them do and grow more internationally. And I feel like it's feeding off so well. And honestly, I'm just like stoked that this is almost, we're just a few hours away from being able to watch this, because it's gonna like,
Are you gonna be staying up to watch it?
well, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow at night, probably. I don't know what time yet though, for sure. So I haven't decided like if I'm gonna watch it live or what.
We avoiding all the spoilers.
Let me ask you guys, can you guys get New Japan World? Is that an app that you could put on your TV?
You can like Chromecast
Yeah, you
it
can
and stuff.
Chromecast it.
Oh,
Like if you have the thing on your.
I don't know how to do that shit.
Oh, like the.
It's kind of like a
plug-in?
Roku,
Yeah.
but not with like,
Yeah.
but you can cast
But
it
I have
onto your
TV Roku. Like my Roku, my TV has Roku on.
You might be able to get through the Fight TV app.
Oh, huh.
Because I think it's also going to be on like Fight TV and traditional.
I don't know.
pay-per-view.
Maybe I'll have to call Disco Inferno and ask him how he's bootlegging the new Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, there's someone having a viewing party tonight. I can tell you about if you want to.
Yeah, there's some stuff on Facebook too.
Oh, yeah?
Some bar stuff.
Yeah, I thought about doing something like that actually, and I might
all night, overnight Wrestle Kingdom party.
Yeah, and not necessarily like with the goal of having like a huge turnout, but just in, you know, something that people enjoy and everyone has some fellowship, you know, wrestling fans. You know,
That'd be awesome.
have things
That's
in
something to
common.
look forward to.
Come watch
next
Wrestle
year.
Kingdom with
Yeah.
Sean Waltman.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think people are going to sign up for
We
that.
were talking about this earlier, Bill. So we know Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, one of the main events. I think that Okada and Naito is going to be last.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Yes.
And there's those two matches, and then we were talking about the other matches, Jay White and Tanahashi. Good for Jay White, huh?
Good for Jay White, but like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, you look at that poster and
He needs to
Jay
grow a
White
freaking beard.
Jay White looks pretty out of place.
Yeah,
on that.
it's still a really young guy.
Sure.
Like maybe he should not shave or something. I don't know.
Maybe he's been not shaving for 6 months, and that's all he can do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. What do you think about?
I don't think Zack Sabre could grow a beard.
Maybe they need to get on some juice.
Call up Juice Robinson and find out what he's doing to grow a beard.
Or
Hoovy.
Yeah. So, what are the other matches on the card?
Is it Ibushi and Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, there's Kota Ibushi and Cody Rhodes are going head to head. It was going to be for the ROH World Title, but of course now Dalton Castle is the ROH World Champion after Final Battle. Spoilers in case you guys have been waiting to watch Final Battle. We've also got what should be an awesome 4-way IWGP Junior Heavyweight match where Marty Scurll is going to defend against Takahashi, Kushida, and Will Ospreay.
Yeah, that's going to be
rule.
fantastic.
Did you see Ospreay come out and like give candy to everyone in the
I didn't see that.
That was pretty funny.
So yeah,
And then the probably the next biggest match after that is a hair versus hair match for the Never Openweight Championship, which is Minoru Suzuki, who gets a lot of heat through his weird hair, versus Hiroki Goto, who has maybe the finest head of hair in the whole promotion. Now that Tanahashi has disastrously cut his hair.
He what?
Tanahashi chopped all his hair off, and it looks horrible.
What did he do, man?
I'll pull up a
Oh,
picture.
come on. Is it that haircut right there?
It's not exactly that.
Man, that was a big mistake.
I mean,
I think he's gonna lose because
maybe
of
it's
it.
the same thing of like John Cena's growing all his hair out now, and Randy Orton's growing his hair out now. Maybe Tanahashi felt like he had to go the other way.
Do
with
you
it.
guys do you know that there was in 2001, I think it was, there was a scandal with Tanahashi getting stabbed by his girlfriend?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like after that, like as a deal of like rehabilitating or however you want to put it, like he cut all his hair off, and it was Yeah, it was a weird deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, is this it?
That's close. He did a little bit of a perm action recently too.
Man, okay, so enough about Tanahashi's hair. So maybe he needs to be in the hair match. Get rid of the rest of that
seriously.
shit.
All I'm gonna say is when they were in Long Beach and I saw Tanahashi's hair, I felt ashamed as a female. I was like, dang, I was like, his hair's better than mine.
Well, never Google pictures of BB Hulk then.
Oh man, whatever happened to him?
He's still in Dragon Gate.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Minoru Suzuki, hair match versus Minoru Suzuki, who's like missing most of his hair anyways. I wonder who's going to lose that one.
I hope it's not Goto.
Really? I hope it is. Just for the sake of it.
Go the Jay Lethal route.
You know, so down in Mexico, they do the hair matches, obviously, and so when they did in AAA at Triple Mania, I was in the, that dome cage where you got to escape through the middle up top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that, by the
Yeah.
way. It sucks, and it's such a stupid concept.
I don't know anyone who likes that match.
It's awful. Try to get out of that thing.
No thanks.
Oh my God.
I'll go through the door.
So they're going around asking, it's a hair, like the loser loses their hair, and so they're asking me how much to lose your hair, and I'm like, well, $50,000. Mm-hmm. Huh? No, really. I'm like, yeah, $50,000. And they're like, so they ended up getting Kenzo Suzuki for $5,000 to cut his hair, and he already only had this much freaking hair. I was like, Kenzo, get your money up front, buddy. So yeah, okay. I want to wish everyone the best. That's getting ready for Wrestle Kingdom tonight. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Okada, Naito, and everybody else in New Japan. I'm really looking forward to watching you guys go out there and kill it tonight.
Our boy Rocky Romero will be in the Roppongi 3K's corner.
Yeah. So
best of luck to him.
Yeah. All right. I'll be watching tonight. And I think, will you be watching, TK?
2 a.m. No.
All right. I think, hey, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Where am I going to be coming up?
Well, coming up January 13th, you'll be at the Wrestling Guy store in Huntington Park in California. You're doing a signing, come meet, take pictures, autographs. Definitely check that out. More info for that at thewrestlingguyStore.com. Also, WrestleZone is hosting a Royal Rumble viewing party in Chicago at Duffy's Tavern and Grill.
Nice.
I'm hosting it, but we're along with WrestleZone.
Along with WrestleZone.
Yeah.
But for $50, you can get your Xpac VIP ticket, which gets you a picture, an autograph of your own on anything you want, and you get to be there for the Q&A when they're going to do a live podcast with you.
Yeah.
So.
And are there other pricing on there?
Tickets, like general tickets, are available. You can find out at Duffy's Royal Rumble. .eventbrite.com has all the info there.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because there are more options besides the $50 option, just for those of you that don't have $50 but still want to go.
There's like 100 VIP tickets for $50 to do that, and that guarantees you a seat at the viewing party.
Gotcha.
But there are other tickets available if you want to just come and watch the show.
Yeah.
Hang out.
Where's the strangest place that you've autographed?
You mean like
on the
body?
location or like?
Yeah, or just if somebody gave you something random to autograph, or like.
I was at the Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset Boulevard, and a guy had me sign his body, and then the next time I was there, he came back with it tattooed on him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a bunch of random other people?
Yeah.
It was like Lillian Garcia and like other random people.
So you like collect
No,
them
it
on
was
his
all
body?
like different It wasn't wrestling people.
Oh, okay.
There was more rock and roll people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, I was just telling you guys, I'll give you details coming up probably next week. I'm really honored. I was asked to speak at some town halls. On addiction prevention, and really honored to be asked to do that. And so it's a little bit outside my comfort zone, which is exactly why I'm doing it.
That's why you start living.
Yeah. So I'll be having more to say about that in the next couple of weeks. But right now we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with just incredible Peter Polacco. Be right back. Hey, X-Pac 12360 fans, I just want to tell you 2 ways that you can support the show to help it grow. First, if you've ever wanted a shout out, a surprise message for various occasions from me, all you have to do is visit celebvm.com/Sean Waltman to request a video today. Not only does it support the show, but a portion of the proceeds go to charity. Second, visit prowrestlingtees.com/Sean Waltman. That's the only place to grab shirts with the Xpac 12360 logo, Wolfpack, or many other designs. If you pick up a shirt, make sure to tweet us using the hashtag Xpac 12360. That's celebvm.com/Sean Waltman for a personal message from me, X-Pac. And prowrestlingtees.com/Sean Waltman for X-Pac, Wolfpack, and X-Pac 12360 gear. Thanks for supporting the show. Now let's get back to it. Welcome back to X-Pac 12360, and joining us right now over the phone is a dear friend of mine and former tag team partner. He is best known as Just Incredible. His name is Peter Polacco.
Yeah.
Yeah, make some noise. Peach. I call him Peach. Do you mind me calling you Peach on here?
Not at all, man.
Hey, man.
Not at all. How are you, man?
Good, man. And you sound good, Peach. I'm really glad to hear that, man.
Thank you, brother.
Happy New Year's, my friend.
Happy New Year's to everybody, especially you, Sean, man. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah. Well, hey, man. I appreciate you coming on. And when I ask you to come on, I want to make sure that you're feeling good, and you sound good, man. How do you feel?
I feel really good, actually, better than I should, quite frankly. No, I just, been trying to, lay off the drink,
yeah.
which I have, and I made it through the holidays and stuff. I'm not even working out really yet. I did a couple of workouts this week, slow, small workouts,
Sure.
nothing crazy, just to kind of get the blood flowing. But, I'm looking to just, right now I'm kind of just focused on my mental health, and I know it sounds weird to a lot of people, but, I'm just trying to stay positive and,
Sure.
and then the rest, so yeah, things are good though, man. I mean, for the most part, I can't really complain for all the wreckage I've left behind. I'm pretty good, dude.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I just wanted to set some ground rules here, and we're going to try to stick by them. No negative self-talk today. Okay, Pete?
None
Okay.
for me. You're going to be actually surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Good, man, because,
Seriously.
this is one of the things that I've always known about you is that, everyone knows, what a great person you are and how great of a performer you've been over the years, and they know it, and it seems like they know it way better than you do, and it's time for you to get up to speed with everyone else that knows that about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's actually really funny that you said that to me, because I was, I don't mind talking about it. I was at my therapist's office, and he said, you know what, you're a pretty good guy. And he doesn't know anything about my wrestling career. He knows I've done it, but whatever. But he doesn't know anything about it. And he goes, "You gotta love yourself." He goes, "That's one of your biggest problems. Is you don't like you." And I was like, "Dude, I barely know me." But yeah. I mean, that's I don't know where that comes from, Sean. Because deep down inside, I think we all have to have a certain self-confidence to be able to even do what we do at a high level. But for me, I think I never. In ECW, I felt really comfortable because we were kind of allowed to just do our own thing, and the pressures weren't on. But I never could adapt to WWE, and it wasn't because of WWE. I think I still carried that Aldo Montoya thing where I was still the young boy, and I always felt that. And I almost, I took it too far where, I wanted to show respect and humility.
Yeah.
But I took it to a level where it's like it sounded like I was beating myself up.
Yeah.
And it didn't serve me well, and I really lacked confidence anytime I went up there. Really, and that's a me thing. That's I caused that. Nobody else did. Really, nobody gave me a reason to. But yeah, man.
The one thing that I always thought about you though is once you got in the ring, you had plenty of confidence. It seemed like that lack of confidence and that negative self-image was something that you had outside the ring, and that once you're in the ring, that's where you feel good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, once, and it is funny. It's like once, I didn't like the entrance. I did it. I did in ECW. I dug the entrances. But when I was in WWE, I never felt like I belonged, like I wasn't the star, and again, that's me. But when the bell rang, I was in my comfort zone, and I knew where I was, I knew how to navigate those waters pretty good, it was, and I knew better. I think it was just a fear that I had, but bell to bell, I was in my comfort zone for sure.
And man, when you're talking about not knowing where that lack of confidence and maybe the negative self-image came from, the thing is, though, Peach, is that we really, really need to figure out where it came from, to be able to deal with it. And so, I encourage everyone to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring it out myself, man. But hey, man, I don't know, Pete. I asked you to come on and that but I don't want to harp on things that happened yesterday. But have you talked with the promoter that that incident happened a couple weeks ago? How was that?
I did not. And it's not funny, but the funny thing is that I was by a third party just to sign autographs.
Right.
So I never really even had contact with the promoter, which is probably even worse. And to be honest with you, I haven't looked at the footage. I don't want to because that would probably do me more harm than good.
You don't need to.
So I haven't. I don't need to do that. Yeah, Razor said that too. Scott said that too to me. Because you don't need to look at it. Because, and of course, Scott would say this. It wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't compared to his, man. Compared to that Fall River gimmick, it wasn't.
Sad thing was, I was in Fall River too that time.
I know you were.
That was horrible too. Well, you didn't see the aftermath with me. I ended up.
I was on the phone with you guys that night. If you don't remember.
I don't actually. Wow. Yeah, that was a horrific night, man.
Yeah.
That was horrific. But yeah, no, I haven't spoken to the promoter, and I kind of felt bad. And that was, the sad thing is, my intention, I think, and I don't really even have a recall, because as an alcoholic and an addict, I don't know, if anybody out there can relate, but for me, I'm at the point where I go and relatively compared to what anybody would drink, I think, or what anybody would consume, I relatively consume very little now when I drink, because my body just doesn't want it. I just can't. I go from 0 to 100 to I don't feel it, blackout. It's turned on me, kind of a thing.
Yeah, the body stops metabolizing the alcohol properly too, man.
Oh yeah. So my intention wasn't to do anything like that, to be a jerk.
Sure.
That's not my nature to be like that, right? That's totally not who I am. But that being said, when you're drunk, bad stuff tends to happen to me,
sure.
And so it's not a good thing, but a lot. You know what? The funny thing, and not that it's a transition, but I won't stay on this, but something actually really positive came out of that horrific incident. Nobody died, but it's still embarrassing for that to happen to anybody, but something really good came out of that.
Yeah, so, man, do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about that, Peach? Because, we talked about, we're talking about the incident that caused all this, but, that, like I said, that was yesterday. Moving forward, I know that Dallas DDP, our dear friend DDP, both of our friends, has stepped up and reached out to you. And can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, this all happened so quick, and I was actually doing stuff with Dallas prior to this, just not to this level. We were communicating, but it's funny, this came through a third party, and somebody reached out to Dallas, could you get a hold of PJ? This happened, and Dallas, I'm already on, and I'm already talking to him. Long story short is, I got this gentleman by the name of Douglas Cartelli, who works with pro athletes, and he owns a big construction concrete conglomerate all over the U.S. He's actually going to sponsor me and send me to Dallas to DDPs. Not Dallas, but to Atlanta. To Dallas is to after I have 30 days of clean time, to go down there and to go through his program, which I've done before, and it's actually pretty cool, and through because of that, we're thinking of pairing up with this director locally who does documentaries and he does other film, to possibly shoot a documentary about this whole journey of recovery and hopefully redemption. I mean, really, it's up to me of where the story is written. But
that's right, Paige. It is up to you, man. It is up to you.
Yeah.
It's your story, and you should tell it. Don't let other people tell your story, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know what? It couldn't have happened at a better time.
Don't mean to call you bro. That's Vince Russo's gimmick. Sorry.
That does not bother me at all, man. But no, it's just a really cool opportunity, and and also at the end of this journey, this gentleman Douglas Cartelli wants to open up a facility to train athletes in wellness from all walks of life. Like I said, he's done like stuff with Ken Shamrock and MMA and boxing.
Yeah.
So something in Connecticut, a facility for all that kind of stuff, and he wants me to kind of be one of his professionals that are in that facility. And I've heard talks, I'm not sure, but that he also wants to do something for women athletes to get into pro wrestling, So,
nice.
It's really cool. And the opportunity right now, it's not like I have, this publicity was this horrible publicity from me being drunk at this show and doing what I did was horrible, and it really kind of, I was kind of done with the business anyways from just where I wanted to be in life. I didn't think I had any legs left in the wrestling business, and I didn't. But this kind of screw-up has led to people reaching out and wanting to help, which is really cool. So I'm embracing it, and right now it's, like the ball's in my court. This is a really cool opportunity to make money, and real money, not just a couple $100,
and also to also just like live a really good life, man.
Yeah.
And you deserve it, Paige, man. You've been beating the shit out of yourself almost ever since I met you, man. And like Scott and I have been guilty of that, in the past too. And I don't do it nearly as much anymore, man. Actually, hardly at all, man. And I want you to have what I have, Paige, because you deserve it, man. And
thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Paige,
thank you.
Can you talk about what it was that made you want to have a drink that day?
I kind of can, absolutely. Well, I'll rewind the story even more, which kind of led to this. December 1st, I'm full disclosure. I don't have a good living situation, and I have my son's on disability from Social Security. He's a little guy. So, anyways, I'm unemployed at the moment, so we get our Social Security check, having a nice time, and as an addict or an alcoholic, you always, I had a little bit of time behind me. You always think, well, maybe if we just get a little, just a little something to drink, like what normal people would probably do and have a good time.
Yes.
And be able to put it down. All right, well, all I remember is I started drinking a couple drinks, I do vodka and soda. Mm-hmm. Couple drinks. My wife and I at about 8 p.m. are dancing, literally, like, just messing around, having fun, laughing in the kitchen. And an hour later, because, somebody in my family said something, cops come, I get arrested. Now, I get arrested on Friday for disorderly conduct, which is not a big deal. Yeah. But it is a big deal because I said to my therapist, he's like, dude, being arrested isn't normal necessarily. I was like, well, that's true. It's starting to become normal, hence, problem kid.
Right.
Like, okay, that was a wake-up call. So I spent Friday all the way till, because the weekend, the courts aren't open. Nobody would bail my ass out. till Monday to get a promise to appear in court. So right there, I'm already, I'm devastated. I'm embarrassed. Here we go again.
Yeah.
I spent, if anybody's ever been, not convicted but locked up like in the local police department, if you stay there for the weekend until court on Monday, it's the worst experience.
Yeah, county jail sucks ass, man. It's the worst.
It's horrible. It's horrible. So, of course, then I come out, like I always do. I don't have a problem getting to stop once I have, I clear the cobwebs. I could stop for a week or two.
Yeah.
But my problem is relapse prevention. I don't stay stopped.
Sure.
Because I always, my mind and whatever you want to call it, the disease, always is telling me, you can do this, you can do this. So I was just beating myself up for that incident. And, the day of this show comes, and, it's just more of that same thing. I wanted a buzz.
Was there an anxiety issue? Do you think there might have been an anxiety issue, like, okay, having to go and be in front of people, or like, is that an issue for you?
No, not at all.
It's not the deal.
I was just supposed to sign autographs that day too, so it was an easy gig.
Yeah.
I just start, when I drink now, I get delusional. I get completely nuts.
Yeah.
Just like a typical alcoholic, and I do stupid things, and that was one of those things. And I think my intention was I wanted to, because Terry Funk did this with me years ago at some indie show where I was in the ring and Terry Funk was signing autographs, and he came out, and we totally didn't plan anything. I mean, we were just messing around.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't end up the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Because I got all kinds of emotions, and then I'm just a drunk, ranting there. Bad look. Yeah. But no, I just think it's me not being happy with myself deep down inside, not happy with my situation, not happy that I'm broke, not happy that I'm morally bankrupt as well. Just in a bad space in my head, and that's the thing that they say. They professionals in the addiction game or alcoholics and stuff. They say that being in your head is the worst place to be. When you're alone, especially.
Yeah, when you're by yourself and you start listening to yourself when you're in a bad place, man, it's not a good thing, Peach. We need to get on the phone. Excuse me. We need to get on the phone immediately with someone that can talk sensible and rational. When it comes to that. Yeah.
Dude, it sounds so trivial, but it's so true. And but anyways, and that's kind of what happened. It was just a bad thing. And I drank after that, believe it or not.
Yeah. No, I don't believe it, Peach. I don't believe it, man.
Well, no, because most people would be like, "Oh my God, I caused so much damage," and then I had to drink because I didn't want to think of the damage I caused.
Exactly.
I
put this tweet out, Peach. It was like right around the time this happened. I'm like, somebody was telling me like, help your friend, and I'm like, I wasn't able. No one could help me until I realized that I no longer deserve to be miserable. And you don't deserve to be miserable, Peach.
Yeah.
You know that, man. I think you're at that point right now. I think you're at that point where you realize that, look, I'm a good fucking guy, man, and I don't deserve to be miserable anymore. So moving forward, I'm not going to be. And I really feel that, like, that's where you are now, Peach. Come on, man.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, Sean. It's a lot of work to be like this, believe it or not. And I know you definitely know what it's like to feel, it's just a lot of work that I put into feeling bad.
Yeah.
When I could put half that energy to feeling decent, and things aren't going to happen overnight for me. And, I'm just going to take every day and every opportunity as it comes. And I think being busy, having something to be proud of, having a purpose. I lack purpose,
Exactly.
I certainly hate. I hate to look in the rearview mirror and see what I could have done, what I should have done. If I could just, I can't live in 98, 99, 2000, and that, unfortunately, I do that a lot.
Well, when the now time sucks, then we end up living in the past, getting in our time machine and going back to the days that were good for us. You know, that's understandable, Peach. But the key to it is to make now and moving forward so good that you don't want to get in a time machine and go back there. You know?
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right.
How many of us, man? How many of us, Peach, have just spent so much time, man, in that fucking time machine?
A lot of us, I think.
God.
I think more than a lot. I think a lot of us, man, it's amazing. I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. I could never fathom this when I was younger. 20 years went by so quick. I've been in the wrestling business since 1992. Yeah. October 16th, 1992 was when I've had my first wrestling match in front of an audience. And, we're going on 25 years.
Yes.
You know, that's a long time, and it went by so fast. I'm like, wow, in 20 years, I'll be 64. I'm 44. You know, so it's like, I'll be damned if I don't take these next 20 years of my life and do something, maybe it won't be anything that other people might appreciate, but I'm certainly going to do things that make me happy, that are good for me and for my family. I think that's really important. I was so worried about before what everybody else thought, that it really was a catalyst for a lot of my issues. I think, like you said, your self-confidence and your self-loathing and all that stuff. I was my own worst enemy throughout most of my life, of my professional life, as because hell, both of us, I think you got in the game a lot younger than I did. I got in at 19 and, got pretty lucky to have the success that I had early on. And I know you certainly did at an earlier age as well.
Blessing and a curse, man. Blessing and a curse, Pete.
It is. It is. And a lot of kids, and when I say it, and I see a lot of guys in the indie shows, these kids are like, man, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. Where I look at it as, dude, you don't even know, you know? And again, it is a blessing and a curse. So, it is what it is.
Hey, Denise, I'm gonna let my panel hop in on this if you don't mind, Pete.
Hearing the story that you just told, clearly you were in a bad place, and now hearing you now, like, to me, you're positive, you're looking forward to change and whatnot. Was there a specific moment or any sort of moments or something that is inspiring you to kind of keep in that right mindset, keep your head on your shoulders, straight, to keep going towards something better?
I'd say yes. Initially, first, it always comes down to that initial wanting to get better is I just have to look at my kids and my wife and I'll be like, dude, I have to have a responsibility to them, even if I don't care about myself, which I very truly kind of do, but it may not show it. That's the first thing. But then two, I think what really helps me, at least, to get on that path of positivity is it's like a diet or building a muscle. It's like working out. I got to work my mind, whether it's, reading, whatever kind of books or good stuff into my head, whatever that may be, something that will get me thinking positively or thinking of things I can do, and it's like a daily mental diet. It sounds weird, but when I get out of bed, I get up like really early. I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning because my youngest has to get up at 6:30 to go to school, so I like to have like an hour beforehand. So I literally wake up, I'll say a couple prayers, like whatever, just like, please God, keep me safe, keep my family safe, and help me be strong. And literally then I focus on, all right, there's not a hole in this world that's gonna, hold me or prevent me from trying to look at, because either way you can or you can't. Both are right depending on the effort you put in and where your focus is going to go. And it's like when you're driving, and you kind of look to the direction you're going in. It's kind of like where I try to put my mental focus early in the morning before the trouble starts with the kids and making breakfast and that whole grind. So yeah, it's like a mental diet first thing in the morning. I got to daily do that. But at first it was just, I don't want to let anybody else down anymore. I can't live with it if I let my kids down, because I've let myself down and other people around me down for so long. I just, at least I have them still by my side,
How important is the support of your wife and your family in a situation like this?
I think it's huge, man. It's a lot of it because, I don't have a lot of friends here, like where I live in Connecticut. Just like guy friends to go out with. And that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, I've always been a homebody, but so a lot of the feedback, a lot of the interactions I get are directly from home. So it's huge. It's huge. I've been married for over 20 years. I have 3 kids, so it's very, very big for me. If my wife's not on board, it makes it difficult for anybody that's been married for 20 years. So yeah, it's really important.
What does your wife do to try and keep you out of going into that time machine and going back to the 90s and the 2000s and getting into the mindset of, like Denise was saying, like moving forward in the now?
Well, that's the funny thing is unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, I shouldn't say that. It's kind of cool in a way, but we went on that journey together for a long time. A lot of people don't know this, but my wife worked in ECW for 3 years, from like 97 till we had our firstborn in 2000, pretty much till the company closed, with merchandise. So she was, ECW paid her to travel to the towns with me. We'd get there first and kind of set up the merch, pack it up and stuff. So she was with me for those 3 years. So we ended up talking about the same things in those good old days. So, she's almost like a female clone, which I don't know if that's called codependency, because in a lot of ways we have a very codependent relationship, which isn't, it doesn't always work out, it doesn't always work out. And it's not always a great, healthy thing, but we're also, this is cliche and corny, but we're best friends too. So it's a double-edged sword, in every way, but, she's cool, and we are now, because she's had problems with addiction and alcohol as well, and we're just trying to, which makes it really challenging. But, we're just trying to look forward instead of backwards, because we know there ain't going back. So a lot of the stories and a lot of the war stories and times that we had and houses that we bought and cars, and then we can't go there. We try not to anyways.
Hey, Peach. Hey, can you talk about WWE's wellness policy and talking with Bob Keeler and what that all entails and how that helps like you and all the other guys that maybe have addiction problems?
Oh yeah. First of all, I mean, they have a second to none program with their wellness policy. I mean, they've put me through treatment more than once. I got off of IV heroin in 2011. Had a couple years of clean time before I thought it was a good idea to drink alcohol. And today, they put me in a nice facility in Tampa for 30 days. And to this day, I spoke to Bob, as a matter of fact, today, Sean, right before I got on with you, and they still pay for a therapist and a psychiatrist on a weekly basis, Yeah. So their program has helped so many guys. At least, it's one thing that, that is there for, the guys. And Vince and Paul and Stephanie, those guys, they don't have to do it.
That's right.
It's not, a lot of people think like it's part of the deal. It's not part of the deal. So it's a really cool thing, and I don't know if I would have the resources, or a lot of us, us meaning me and other addicts, alcoholics.
Most don't, Paige. Most don't, man. Just about everybody else out there does not have the resources we do when it comes to that. Like, we are so blessed when it comes to that, when dealing with addiction.
Yeah, it's amazing actually, and I would be stuck in a government-run program,
sure,
which would be horrible compared to the care and the treatment that WWE gives us. It's a privilege. It really is, and not to sound corny, it is a privilege, and it's really great they're doing it, because they've helped so many people, so many good people that it's amazing.
Hey, they helped me, man. And I don't just to full disclosure, I've never been on one of those conference calls with Bob Keeler for the addiction stuff. And honestly, I think I'm going to. I'm doing well right now, but that doesn't mean you don't keep working on your program, and you know what I'm saying? Because that's when you could end up slipping.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, John. And I've called recently and stuff, and there's a good group of guys and gals that call in on Sunday or on Wednesday. Wow. It's really positive, and it's not mandatory by any means, but
you can even be drunk and call in.
Yeah,
just call, man.
Yeah. So it's cool for us because most people that are I think all that are in there are former performers, athletes that know the game and have a similar experience that can relate to what the individuals on the line are going through. So it's really unique experience and a great experience for guys and gals that are suffering.
Hey, Meech, how do you think that, like, okay, I mean, I know you haven't been around the business as much now, but like, I think I'll rephrase this, not as a question as much maybe a statement. It seems to me that wrestling now is much easier to be involved in and not end up falling off the wagon. Like there's a lot more like clean cut, straight edge people in the locker rooms now, man, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on that, and it's very true. I mean, just going into I haven't been to a WWE locker room in 5 years or so, maybe longer. But just even in the indie locker rooms or the those conventions that they have and stuff, even if you ask anybody who isn't from that generation, or even a lot of the guys that are from that generation, it's just not seen, and that is good, and that is something to say for the way the business is now as opposed to was, because when we were there or got involved in the wrestling business in particular, not even the WWE per se, it was still the Wild West.
Yep.
It was still very much, even though kayfabe wasn't as big, it still was it was a very much, the older days, and we caught the latter end of that. But today, the athletes are way more clean cut, and they don't go out and party. I'm sure there are guys that do, and there's nothing wrong with going out and having a drink if you could do it.
Right.
But it's cool to see that more guys are clean cut and taking care of their health. It's cool because we've had enough.
And I just think that living better has made them honestly, man. I don't mean to put our generation down, but I think that these guys are better human beings, Peach.
Well, the thing is, and when I think a lot of it has to do with where the business originally came from too. Because a lot of it was that carny style business. And it just was that almost like that debauchery, and just how the fans were treated, after the show, how we thought about the fans, and okay, you gotta, if there's a quote unquote rat, we gotta get her to pay for everything, and you know what I'm saying? It's just, I mean, just that whole thing, man. I'm really happy it's not a thing anymore. Yeah, I am too, and it shows you how much of a mark I was when I got into the business. The business, the way it looks today, is what I thought it would look like when I was 18, but didn't know any better. I went into it from a total innocent perspective, not knowing what this whole ride would entail, this whole journey. But I'm really grateful, and it's good too, because I think the fans get more out of the product. They feel connected to the boys. And the boys too, we worked hard as much as anybody, but I think guys now, and too with injuries and stuff, we all did some pretty silly stuff to stay out there.
Yeah.
And keep working, because if you didn't work, you didn't get paid, and you'd be replaced real quick, I just saw something on the internet or on one of the news sites about how Enzo Amore was sick, and he checked himself out of the hospital to make Raw, because that's what we do, right?
That's what you do,
We make talent, right?
That's not what we do anymore, apparently.
Right, exactly.
But that's a good thing, Peach.
You know, it's just a different day and age. I'll tell you, I remember my first bad concussion, and it was at the Manhattan Center, 93. I wrestled the Head Shrinkers, the SST, Samu and Fatu, and I was live, and they knocked me out cold, to where I literally went limp. And
they told me they were going to do that to you. I didn't think they were serious.
Yeah, probably did. But anyways, I don't remember how, and I live in Connecticut, it's like 2 hours from Manhattan, but if anybody's driven in Manhattan, it's really crazy. You know, the lights, the tunnels, bridges, very difficult. I blacked out in the ring. I remember going to the ring, and I remember waking up in my bed.
Wow.
You know, I don't know how I got home. I don't know where I got my car, who got my car. I had all my stuff, you know, money, whatever, but I woke up in bed. And there's so many stories I have where I've gotten beat up, and, you know, whether it's driving from Buffalo after like a horrible concussion against Jerry Lynn, throwing up the whole way because my wife couldn't drive stick shift. And then, you know, having Friday night off and wrestling 2 out of 3 falls in Philly on Saturday, you know. Like
with post-concussion syndrome. Beautiful.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? But so I'm glad. You know what? It's good that the business is evolving like that, though, because you know what, man, we have enough guys who've gone through so much. At least, you know, at least now, guys are getting taken care of.
Yeah.
You know.
But go ahead.
For people that haven't gone through addiction or don't know anything about it, you know, what would you say to them that they're not in your shoes, that you kind of wish that they knew, so that maybe the support could be bigger for those that sometimes don't support people that are going through problems?
People that aren't familiar with it?
Right.
Well, man, it's something that it's really hard to explain. I come across that even now with my family, for example. You know, I got this, and Sean, you'll laugh at this. When I got out of rehab this time, my mother made a statement to me. Oh, good, now that you're cured.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You know, but of course they don't.
Yeah.
And Bob Keelar, the gentleman you were talking about, Sean from WWE Wellness, you know, they tell you that, you know, the disease is always progressing, and sometimes we can't expect other people that aren't addicts to understand. And I need to be sometimes handled with kid gloves. It's really, you know, and you know, I don't know how to even explain it to somebody who isn't, because people won't, you know, it's like, even my son's 17, and I'm trying to tell him, and he smokes pot.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you know, be careful.
Yes.
Because I smoked pot too, and only pot for a while. Said, I don't know if it's I'm not educated enough to say if it's you know, that gene or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know if it's in your genetics. Don't know. But I know that we have a problem with, you know, sometimes being down and changing your state.
Yeah.
And now that I'm having all this stuff, I see that a lot of it's the way I felt inside that made me drink.
Yeah.
So to other people, I would just say, you know, just to, I don't know, man, just to notice when people are hurting. Because, you know, sometimes people have no idea what's going on in my mind, and sometimes they mean well, but little things will make my situation worse. Like, the worst thing you could do for me when I'm having a bad, you know, like when I'm having a bad time, you know, or moment, is to yell at me and to throw that stuff in my face. Right. You know, which again,
guilting you and shaming you. It's and those are really, really bad things to do.
Right. When I'm already feeling that, you know, I'm already feeling that to the core, because I do care about people. I do care about, you know, my family, my friends, my coworkers, you know, all my friends in the business. I do care. You know, I genuinely care a lot about a lot of people that will never truly understand addiction unless you've seen it. And I tell you what, addiction is horrible beast that I would not wish on my worst enemy. It really is, man. It's a torturous thing, and you know, I did it to myself. No one did it to me. I just was completely ignorant to it. Yeah. So, I mean, I just, you know, people that aren't addicts, just get educated on it, man, because it's something you don't want to end up being 20 years down the road.
And I really, really want to stress to people listening that don't really know a lot about it, addiction and relapse, they're not they're not a moral failure issue. It's not, that's not the case, and people got to get that. They got to understand that,
willpower, they say.
Yeah, it's not. Listen, yeah, trust me, and that's not. Look, it's just a willpower. You just don't have willpower. That's bullshit. I understand why people think that, but those people are people that haven't gone through this, or don't have. There's people that even have close family members that still think that kind of shit, and it bums me out. It makes me sad, but I do understand, because when you're not going through something like this, you could never even begin to relate. It's really hard to relate.
Wrap your head around. I'll tell you one thing real quick, and just to kind of piggyback off of that, I want to get to other things, but just real quickly, I think it's important. I had the privilege of meeting Chester Bennington from Linkin Park a couple of times, and I met him last year. He passed away this August. I was actually in treatment in Tampa when I got the news. Can't say he was a friend, don't know him, probably has no clue who I am. Not the point. Point is, this guy on the outside looks like he has everything in the world. He was, from what I'd heard, because I, communicate through Twitter with his wife, Talinda, he was doing fine days before he killed himself. I think mental health and addiction have a huge component and work hand in hand. And I think mental health has, just that word has this stigma attached to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And one thing doesn't necessarily go with the other, but I say it does.
They do though. They do, Peach. Mental illnesses don't necessarily go hand in hand with addiction. Like you can have one without being an addict, but if you're an addict, almost 100%, I would say, have the mental illness component with it. I just think they're the same thing. I just think addiction is kind of a mental illness. And,
right, exactly.
Yeah, man. And they're so intertwined and you can't separate them when it comes to that. No, and I was reading this book, and it really says that I'm sure you guys have heard of Anthony Robbins. He does a lot of self-help stuff. Oh, yeah.
And he basically says that through his research and studying and stuff, that a lot of people, whether they know it or not, that abuse alcohol or drugs, at first do it from a place of not being happy with something in their lives or themselves, whether it's something work related, whether it's something deep down emotionally that's bothering you. People that go through traumas like PTSD or victims of sexual crimes and stuff of that nature. It's really like that. So I think that's another topic for another time. But it's all relatable in some way or another.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
But
hey, man, before we get going, Peach, can you talk about, or do you want to talk about any other things that you have coming up or that you're working on?
Well, pretty much just wanted to Dallas, Texas, actually, for probably my last in a long time. I don't have the information on me, but it's somewhere in North Dallas. Just go on my Twitter at PJ Palago, and information is up there. And now, pretty much, I'm just looking forward to Atlanta to stay at DDP's, and just to get and shoot this documentary, and hopefully, with the help of that gentleman Douglas Cartelli, start up the facility.
Hey, Peach,
and there's paperwork.
Do you have a call coming in or something?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
I don't know. There was some kind of issue with our sound here.
Yeah, no, I heard that too.
But you were trying to no-sell it.
Decipher it.
Yeah, no, I said you were no-selling it, but I sold it.
Okay, gotcha.
So you got something coming up in Dallas.
Yes, I'm actually trying to find it before we get off, but to no avail.
That's okay.
My iPhone is very, very slow. But yeah, just go on my Twitter page at PJ Palaco, and you will find all the information if you live in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. So,
Pete, I'm really, man, you sound good, and I'm really grateful for that, man. I love you very much, my friend. Hey, is there any other things you want to plug real quick? No?
No, that's about it, man.
Okay.
That's about it. Just, if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at PJ Polacco or on Instagram at PJ Polacco. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff popping off with DDP and with everything that we're doing. Actually, the cool thing, we got the story picked up by CBS Sports in Pittsburgh, local affiliate. So the ball is rolling, and Friday got a whole media thing going on with a couple of newspapers and Rolling Stone. It's actually really exciting stuff, and
makes me happy,
you guys.
man.
Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate you guys and your support, and you guys are cool, and you're awesome, and I love you too, Sean.
Yeah, I love you, my
friend. I noticed when I was looking at your Twitter that you have a lot of cool stuff on eBay for sale. Ring-worn gear, rare 8x10s, and then you also have your Figures Toy Company action figure.
Oh, yeah.
Where can people go buy this stuff to help support you?
Well, you can check out my eBay page, which I have on Twitter. But believe it or not, I sold out of all those items.
Awesome.
So, and I literally just was going through my stuff and figured, why not try? And it actually caught me by surprise, so I had to get everything out last minute. So it was really cool. But check it out if you want more of that stuff. And my action figures, my brand new Icons one or Legends, whatever they call it, is from Figures Toy Company. And it's on their website as well, or you can get it, I think, at Walmart.com and on Amazon.com.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Cool, man. Hey, Pete, again,
right,
for the third time, I love you very much, and have an awesome rest of your day, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, that was kind of cool having Pete on. Yeah, he sounds really good, man, and it makes me so happy. Because I love that guy so much, and it's so fucking heartbreaking when you see your friends going through shit like that. So is there anything we want to, talk about before we get out of here?
Well, just want to give a big congratulations to Keven and Maria who got married.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. I don't know what's left on her bucket list, but it can't be much.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was
really
incredible, man, to turn on... I was actually at the XWA thing, so I had to go search for clips of it online.
Yeah,
but,
I had to watch it on
Twitter.
Dude,
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was such a crybaby.
Did you know it was like?
Yeah. I knew they were getting married. Yeah.
Yeah, the inside info.
I was gonna go, but I had to do that.
It's funny. It's funny because I saw the whole world goofing on the Steve Harvey outfit.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see that it was their wedding until the next day. It was like, oh, that was the context for that. Great.
So, anyways, if there's nothing else to talk about, we can just get out of here. Is there anything to talk about? No?
Social media.
All right.
What's going on in your life, TK?
Yeah, TK.
TK's training for a marathon.
It's almost birthday season.
Marathons.
Yeah, I'm going to be running the LA Marathon. I'm raising money for Pumps in Africa.
Well, talk about that real quick.
You can go on my social media. You can go on the bio. I'm actually going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff this week, but that's what I'm doing, so a lot of mileage.
And you guys want to do the social media stuff real quick?
Follow me on Twitter at Jimbo in the Booth.
You guys can check me out on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo and on YouTube, Denise Salcedo.
Cool.
You can find me on all social media at Sundown Motel, and I'm at uprocks.com, uprocks.com/prowrestlingwithspandex.com. And just today we had the new episode of McMansplaining going up, which has Deanna Purrazzo on it, who I'm happy to report is alive and well after her run-ins with Asuka.
Wow, nice. Hey, nice hoodie you got there. I got one of those.
Thanks, yeah. We're twinsies. I was just praying you wouldn't wear it today. But you wore a much nicer shirt.
Yeah.
So you can follow us on AfterBuzz TV, and you can also follow us on Twitter, The Real X-Pac, on IG, Xpac12360, Facebook, Xpac12360 Show, and like I said, you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Cool. Well, Happy New Year's once again, everyone, and we'll see you next week right here on Xpac12360.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Sean Waltman, producers Jimbo Frank and TK Trinidad, managing producer of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling Mark Donica, and the entire Xpac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow Xpac on Twitter at TheRealXpac and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later!